Hey everyone, welcome to another match of Temur Delver. Today we are playing green-red Ponza. Fun deck to play against, a lot of interaction, kind of. At least when you're trying to dodge Blood Moon or Magus of the Moon. I definitely would not have, or I would have second guessed keeping this hand if I knew I was playing green-red Ponza in game 1. Obviously I didn't at the time. Anytime I see Forest coming down turn 1, I always expect Arbor Elf or Utopia Sprawl to follow. In this case, yeah, we see Utopia Sprawl. So, alright. I'm already concerned about a turn 2 Blood Moon. But we will see. We draw Mana Leak. I mean, we have no choice here. We have to go for Serum Vision. So we see Delver and Stubborn Denial. I keep both. But obviously we're going to draw Delver first to ensure a flip on turn 3 if we ever make it there. Moment of truth right now is, does our opponent have it? Does our opponent have Blood Moon or Magus? Let's see. They do not. They have Pillage. Believe it or not, I'm fine with this. I'm perfectly fine with Pillage. I'd much rather see Pillage than a Blood Moon right now, or Blood Moon-like effect. So we put Delver on the field. Next turn it'll flip, assuming it survives. If it doesn't, it's okay. Then we could at least put Tarmogoyf, potentially. Let's see what our opponent plays. It's always nice to see a turn 2 destroy land. Seems fair. So Questing Beast. Interesting play. Vigilance, Haste, and Death Touch. Kind of annoying. Because that means we're going to have to sacrifice one of our own creatures. So, at least to kill it. So we come in with Delver. Our opponent doesn't have anything, so they're obviously going to let that through. We're going to pay Life for Breeding Pool and just hold off. We need to kind of stabilize here. Our opponent has a 4/4. If they put another big creature on the battlefield, like Glorybringer, we're kind of doomed. So we kind of have to plug the bleeding here. So let's see what our opponent has to cast. Okay, exactly. This is exactly why I did not play Tarmogoyf on turn 2. I just kind of smelt Glorybringer coming out. So Mana Leak kind of had to be active there. I'd much rather deal with 1/4/4 on the ground than 2 4/4s, and one of them is in the air and causing a bunch of extra damage. And yeah, that would have been brutal. So we're gonna get pinged again for 4. That's okay. We kind of have no choice here. So I would definitely traverse for a forest and then bring down our Tarmogoyf. We just have to. We have to stem the bleeding, and this is the only way to do it. Next turn, assuming our opponent doesn't have a second Glorybringer in hand, which I hope they do not. You know, they could attack with Questing Beast. We will almost certainly chump with Tarmogoyf. Luckily, we have a backup Tarmogoyf. We have Hooting Mandrills, worst case, so we're okay right now. Assuming our opponent attacks with Questing Beast. Okay, so Seasoned Pyromancer's okay. Assuming our opponent attacks with Questing Beast this turn, and we cast Tarmogoyf next turn with Stubborn Denial. Stubborn Denial will have Ferocious, which means they're not going to be able to cast any more non-creature spells without us having something to say about it, so that's good. Seasoned Pyromancer is slightly annoying because it brings a bunch of chump blockers onto the field, but whatever. We still have 1 flyer, and that's all that matters right now. If we could find ways to protect Delver, we win the game. Yeah, so I expected the attack. Obviously, we're going to block. I'm sure our opponent expected this as well. Yeah. Thank you, Tarmogoyf, for sacrificing yourself. Let's see what we draw next. Okay, it's another Utopia Sprawl. It's great. I think that brings our opponent's hand size down to 0. In which case they're top decking, and that is exactly what I would prefer my opponent be doing, top decking, as opposed to having a selection of spells they can play. I don't know why they're waiting. Sometimes Xmage likes to get confused. Come on. There we go. So, Lightning Bolt. That is interesting, isn't it? Isn't Lightning Bolt interesting? That essentially means we win next turn. Assuming Delver's Secrets survives and our opponent doesn't cast something else ridiculous. So, let's see what happens. Glorybringer is pretty much GG. Another Seasoned Pyromancer. I'm okay with this. I'm perfectly fine with this. Again, our opponent is top decking. Or at least is top decking now. So that's beautiful. So be it. Assuming nothing else happens. Well, okay, well, they drew 2 cards, so it is what it is. Assuming nothing else happens. Oh, there goes, Magus of the Moon went to the graveyard. That's always fun. Another Utopia Sprawl. Alright. I mean, I guess they have to cast it, but assuming nothing else happens, we win. We win. Let's see. Okay. So, of course, I had to jinx it, but luckily we have Stubborn now. So we get exactly what we wanted out of this. That is not a creature. It is an instant. I am sure we are annoying our opponent, having answers to their spells, but hey, this is Temur Delver, this is what we do. So, yeah. Protect the Queen. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Protect the Queen, in this case, Delver. So I'm sure our opponent knows that if we have a burn spell, it's over, but they really can't do anything here. Even if they attack with their 3 creatures, sure. I mean, yeah, then what are you going to do? I'm definitely going to block Seasoned Pyromancer here. You don't want to risk it because, you know, they could draw into a bolt as well. Yeah, so we block. Yep, there we go. And now we're not going to waste time. We're going to attack. And with... yeah, so no blocks, no answers, no nothing. We're going to Lightning Bolt. There we go. It's GG. Alright, so that was game 1. We survived. We survived with Shockland starting hand, and yeah, we didn't see Magus of the Moon resolve. We didn't see a Blood Moon. So what did we bring in? So Destructive Revelry for sure, because Blood Moon. Engineer Explosive as well, if for whatever reason we need to destroy some other permanent, or we need to take out their tokens if they get out of hand with their tokens. Huntmaster of the Fells makes sense here as well. Maybe not the most sense, but if this game does grind out, you know, the first game kind of grinded out. So if the second game also grinds out, Huntmaster of the Fells can actually pull some weight. So I think that was sufficient. Thought Scour comes out because we're going to be interacting with our opponent quite a bit. Okay, so opening hand is pretty good. We have Forest, which means we won't get locked out of Forest. Of Green if Blood Moon comes down or Magus Moon comes down early, but we also have Seal of Fire, which means we can answer at least Magus. So that's fantastic. Or worst case, kill an Arbor Elf, which would stop a turn to Magus or Blood Moon, potentially. So let's see what our opponent does. They're mulliganing down to 6. Forest comes down. Eerily looks like game 1. Yep, Utopia Sprawl. Alright, we're repeating game 1. This is where I double check my video editing software to make sure it didn't somehow loop, but it did not. Simic Charm. Good draw. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to take the risk here and potentially lock ourselves out of blue. But that's okay, because again, unless they're bringing in Blood Moon, we have an answer for Magus. So I'm okay with Magus coming down turn 2. Just going to make our Tarmogoyf bigger anyway. Okay, instead they choose to kill our Delver. That's sad, but fine. So at this point, yeah, Serum Visions, because we kind of want to get a land. Okay, there you go. So we got our Misty Rainforest. We can secure our island. Of those 2 cards, don't really need. Yeah, we don't need either. So we put them both in the bottom of the library. End of opponent's turn, we'll fetch for an island. Alright. They're going basics as well. So let's see what they have. Arbor Elf, sure. That won't survive too long. I'm going to predict that next turn I'm going to play Tarmogoyf and kill the Arbor Elf. Let's see if I'm right. I say this with no memory of this matchup. It's been a while, so I do that on purpose so that even some of this surprises me. Second Tarmogoyf. We didn't fetch. If I didn't fetch, it's because I felt like I need to draw more lands and I didn't want to necessarily thin out the deck. Okay, as expected, I did exactly what I said I would do. And I'm going to play my Tarmogoyf. Okay, so Kev of today is on the same wavelength as Kev of several weeks ago. We now have a 4/5 on the battlefield. And our opponent is running out of time. Arbor Elf. Okay, so we know we have another Arbor Elf in hand. What I really don't want to see right now is Glorybringer. We do have Simic Charm, which would at least get rid of Glorybringer for a turn. But still, really don't want to see one at the moment. Yep. So another Seasoned Pyromancer coming down. They're going to be able to chump block for a bit, but it's okay. And an Arbor Elf. Cool. Most likely be bolting that Arbor Elf. That's my guess. Again, with that Arbor Elf, they could bring down Glorybringer. Actually, I think they can still bring down Glorybringer right now, but still. Force of Negation is not bad. If Simic Charm proves to be useless, Force of Negation is a perfectly fine card to use, and use Simic Charm as an exile target. I'm assuming I'm getting chump blocked here. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to play our Tarmogoyf and bolt Arbor Elf. Okay, so I'm still at the same wavelength as I was several weeks ago. Again, we want to... this is a resource war. You know, this is a game of attrition as well. We're progressively advancing our board state while we are progressively undoing our opponent's board state. Okay, so they are hard casting their creature. They need a 4/3. That's fair. They definitely need a better board presence. But we do have 2/5/6 Tarmogoyfs, so not gonna do much. Opt is interesting. We can dig, but let's see what our opponent tries to do here. Let's see if they try and get tricky with us and try and kill one of our Tarmogoyfs. In theory, they could, and in theory, we can save our Tarmogoyf with Simic Charm. We do have Opt, so Opt can be a target for Force of Negation if need be. Yep. I'm assuming that I'm seeing a double block. Yes, I am. I would most likely defend this Tarmogoyf. Yep. Correct move. Defend the Tarmogoyf. Take out 2 of their creatures. Again, that's another tempo swing in our favor. They are losing 2 threats. We are maintaining ours. We now have temporary 8/9 Tarmogoyf. And there we go. Our opponent's getting a bit cheeky, saying that it's a cool deck. I tell him it's Rug Delver, and I tell him thank you, because it is a cool deck. We have 5 card types. All right. This is why we play Force of Negation, people. This is why. And we get the concession. I mean, would you continue playing at this point if you were playing Ponza against my Delver deck? I think you would give up as well. So that was Ponza. Our opponent never managed to resolve a Moon-like effect. It wouldn't have done much in game 2. It would have done quite a bit in game 1. In fact, it might have probably won the game for our opponent in game 1. But game 2, we had full control. We had answers for everything. And I wouldn't necessarily say that all our draws were perfect. I wouldn't even say that, we just drew the cards that we have in the deck that are meant to do the things that they're meant to do. It's a very matter-of-fact statement. Simic Charm, I have a 1 of, and it did awesome there. Again, it advanced our board state just by attacking, and our opponent thinking they could take out one of our Tarmogoyfs with their creatures. It just didn't happen. Force of Negation, taking out Chandra right there, forcing a concession, because listen, what else is our opponent going to do? Everything that they're playing, we have answers for. Everything that they're playing, we have counters for. And this is why I love this deck so much. Now, of course, there are definitely games where things go horribly, and that's true for any deck that you play. If you're playing a deck that has a 70-80% win chance, or even a 60% win chance, you're probably playing something that's a ban target, right? So I really hope you enjoyed this match. I definitely enjoyed playing it. I definitely enjoyed rewatching it. Feels good even now. Stay tuned for more. I got more of the stuff that I'm recording. I want to put up. I want to share with you guys. I'm hoping I'm piquing your interest, at least in Temur Delver. And I will be recording a deck tech on this deck, and as well as my Temur Tarmogoyf deck soon, and I'll be posting those up as well. So stay tuned. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you enjoy my content. I really appreciate the support. Plus, you'll get notifications every time I upload a new video. Thanks, guys. Stay tuned for more.